Good morning. My name is Michael Casson, and it's a pleasure this morning to be this early because I'm sure most of you have no idea what we're talking about if you were out as late as the rest of us. So it's a good advantage to start out here in the morning. We're going to talk about the boundaries of the blur, a sort of an interesting topic, and digitization of film. So I'd like to start with a couple of questions. What are you watching? When and on what screen are you watching it? I guess today it really doesn't matter, and it's fair to say that tomorrow it'll matter even less. That's what TV Week said about the future of television in an April special report on the history of what once, in our ancestral media past, called the small screen. But the passage could just as easily describe any filmed content today. In fact, we aren't going to talk about what we promised in today's panel titled The Boundaries of the Blur, because I suggest there are no boundaries anymore. There is only content anywhere, everywhere. Some of it on screen, some of it online, some of it on billboards, all of it digital. Some content is created using the highest production values and the most brilliant storytelling talent in the world. Some is created by a guy or two in a garage in Helsinki with a laptop and a digital camera. Some of it is branded, some of it is not. It's all content, all the time, everywhere. It's a digital world. We just live in it. And that's why this festival will hand out lions in new film categories this year, including internet film, mobile film, integrated film, and the wonderfully named Other Screens category. So let's rephrase our thesis for this morning. Let's talk about how to break free of any boundaries and how to succeed when you've moved beyond them. How are advertisers, agencies, distributors, and the creators and consumers of content, sometimes the same thing, changing as the digital culture continues to take shape? What is the present like, and what does the future hold for branded entertainment? Short-form storytelling, web-only content. Are we on the cusp of the age of unbranding, a new generation of advertising where storytelling doesn't simply channel the message, it is the message? We're fortunate to have with us several of the trailblazers who are finding answers to all of these questions, map makers of our digital present and explorers of the digital future. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome me in joining the best in class on our panel. I think our panel requires little introduction, so I'm just going to welcome Jonah and Miles and Kevin and Brian and David and Fernanda, and be thankful that this is not all a bunch of guys hanging up here. You had a real good degree of class, Fernanda, so thank you very much. I'm going to begin with a question for David. David, does channel matter?
In a word, to me and to Microsoft, not anymore, no. There's no, effectively when we talk to clients nowadays, they're asking the same thing, what medium should we use? What medium should we be using, and why? Well, in actual fact, there is no boundary anymore. Channel really doesn't matter because effectively it's the consumer that's going to be taking the control of the content, the information, sharing it. So whether it comes from a 35mm film or if it comes from someone filming it with a camcorder, it really doesn't matter. And the point is now, in actual fact, it's the embracing, it's the empowerment of the consumer. Let them just take control. Let them choose what they want to see, when they want to see it. And again, when we talk to creatives, agencies, planners, developers, it actually doesn't matter because they're always asking the same question. How are we going to reach as many people as possible in such a fragmented market? There's so many digital devices and mediums out there. What does it matter? And how does it matter?
So it's already starting. I have Jonah and Brian shaking their heads here. I don't know if they're shaking their heads at one another or at you, so I'm going to ask Brian to please elucidate a little for the audience here, Brian. Or was that just the shakes from last night?
That's just the shakes from last night. Has last night ended?
Easy for you to say.
I'm eager to see what Jonah was shaking his head at, but the reason I'm shaking my head, David, is that we've heard that the consumer is in control and content is liquid and it goes everywhere. I actually think that the channel does matter because I think in an addressable world, which is where we're going, it isn't about mass. It isn't about extreme reach. It's about a niche mass or the most targeted message we can have. And So you in your setup, Michael, you actually talked a little bit about the unbranding of content. Well, if we actually allow ourselves to believe that, we are once again setting ourselves up to actually disintermediate the advertiser from the entire process.
I love it when you use big words, Brian. I really like it.
To extract them, Michael, from the process. They are, in fact, suffering from 50 years of disintermediation in entertainment. So I shake my head. I don't know why Jonah's shaking his head, but I shake my head because I actually am of the opinion that channel does matter in a niche, mass sort of addressable way, and that we need to move past the consumers in control. They are in control. But I can talk to specifically who I want to if technologies will help me get there.
If
technology will help me get there.
So if technology helps you get there, opposed to that would be, how do you bump up against the privacy issue? But I don't want you to answer that question now. I'd like you to contemplate it while we find out what Jonah was shaking his head.
No, I mean, I basically agree with Brian, and actually in a way I think we agree with David. I just think it's coming at it saying that, you know, channel doesn't matter is the wrong way to look at it. The point is, and I mean, you hear it on all these panels now, but the point is that you're going to start with the consumer, and then you need to know an awful lot about them. You need a phenomenal amount of data about them, and a lot of that data is going to include what are the channels that I can reach those specific consumers. So, I mean, channel matters more than ever before, and I mean, that's pretty obvious in, you know, you look at the massing ranks of the media agencies. I'm sure we've got people out here, the number of different planners there are, the number of planners there are inside every ad agency, and the fact that, you know, you speak to pretty much any marketer today, and the number one question they want to know is, okay, what is going to be my way of engaging with that specific consumer? I mean, channel has never been so important. So
I think the right channel matters. It's not just about channel in general. It's about being able to, in a very basic way, in entertainment, it's about being able to find your audience and let them be aware of your content. So channel matters, and I think it's funny that the Microsoft guy was saying that channel doesn't matter, but I think it's funny because you need to be able to get your message out to as many people as possible within, it's not a gross mass.
Channel doesn't matter unless it's his.
Yeah, exactly. It's not a gross mass, it's a net mass. And what you want is the single largest number of people within that target audience that you're focusing on.
You know, when you talk about a gross, you know the story of the two hookers walking in on the Crozet the other night, right?
No, please tell us.
And one said to the other, how much did you make? She said, I made 350 euros. She said, gross? She said, no, Schwartz. It's an accounting joke. You have to